Hi everyone. I am just gonna log into my tablet so that I can see what you see. Let me see. I'm always lost when it comes to that. Okay, right here, right there, and here we go. I see what you see, so. Okay, so welcome everyone. Today we're doing the Monarch, and I changed the painting a little bit from what you guys saw. I couldn't sleep last night, so I got up in the middle of the night and came down in my studio, and I just started playing around with it, and I added a bit more dimensions. So I like it better this way. And I'm going to show you the paints that I used. So for the green, I use Thicket. And I used the citrus green. Oops, okay. I use citrus green, which is a yellowish green. And the Thicket is a dark green. You can use whatever greens that you have. You just need a dark and a light. I have the orange, which is the tangerine, which I've had like for years, and apple red, which will make the darker area here of the butterfly. I also added this morning this one here called Linen. It's a beigey paint, which is how I did this with the white and the black and this beigey color. To me, it looks more now like a piece of driftwood, and which is actually what I wanted to accomplish from right at the beginning. So we're going to start with our background. First, I want to draw our log. So by drawing our log with the chalk, we're not going to put green here. We're just going to do it with the black and the white. So that way you don't need to put extra paint, extra green, take paint for nothing. Also, remember guys, I don't see you because I'm working over my table. Also, what I did and what you guys can start doing is called an underpainting. I wanted to hide the trees of what we did last week so that I could actually draw my log so that it wouldn't get confusing, because I wouldn't have been able to see the line. But a lot of artists do an underpainting. So instead of painting on white, they paint on something color. It can be anything. I chose green because it kind of hid better than just a pale color, I took just any green to hide it. You won't have that problem because you're working on a white, but if you wanted from now on, you could do an underpainting. It can be any color. And what it does is going to add deftness to whatever you're going to put on top, which is really cool. So all you need to do is just come, do your log, and do the shape that you want. There we go. So that means the rest here will be my green. So I'm going to load my palette, which I didn't do, and I'm going to flip my canvas also because it'll be easier. And we're working with, I decided to use a sponge brush, and you don't need too much paint, so don't take too much out. So that way you're not gonna, it's not gonna dry up on you and you're gonna have to throw it away. And I'm just gonna reload if I need to reload. I think it's much better that way. So what I'm gonna do, here's my sponge brush. You could also take the 1 inch brush, okay? It doesn't have to be that 2-inch brush. If you have this, it's gonna work just as good. I just happen to have this, and I kind of like working with this side. So I'm gonna wet my brush and take all of the water. Okay, let's see if I can do that. Shouldn't do that on my canvas, but See, I'm taking all the water out. And I'm even gonna take my sponge and sponge it a little bit. Okay? So now what I'm gonna do, oh, actually I don't even have to flip because I'm not using, you could use your palette knife if you wanted here. It's just that I wanted something to dry fast enough so that we can enjoy ourselves doing the butterfly or in the log. So I'm gonna dip into the dark green and to my light green. And I'm just gonna start, I'm gonna kind of go in and crisscross and try not to mix it too much, but make sure that I have both colors. So again, I'm gonna come in. And then what I'm gonna do, and we can do this fast, and don't forget, do your edges and come in. And you can kind of do this any which way you want because we're gonna come and we're gonna do this to create, because this is the background, so it's kind of the forest in the back. I'm gonna reload this dark green because I don't have much on it. So it's okay if I go over my lines, as long as you know, you don't wanna spend all your green in here that we're gonna hide after with the black. Okay, more. Maybe I took too much water out of my sponge brush. Okay, and I'm not gonna do that right away here. So I'm gonna have to reload. That's okay, I prefer reloading than having too much paint, because the first time, oh my God, I had such a big blob of paint that, you know, kind of got all dried up on me because I couldn't put it back in the bottle, right? Because we're dipping in one and dipping in the other. So you can't put that back into your bottles because then your colors are not what they're supposed to be if you put mixed color back in your bottles. So here I am again, and I'm working on the corner. And it's okay if there's spots that are dark, and because we're gonna come and blend it after. Actually, we're gonna do this fast. And always on the corner. See, because I've put a green under, I won't see a white canvas under. So it's okay if I'm missing spots. You know, if you know you're gonna do a sky, and so you can work with some type of blue as your underpainting. That would be good. Okay, we're almost done here. I'm going to the edge of you want to go to the edge of your log. And I'm running out. I want to maybe have some highlight spots here because we're going to make that blurry. Okay, I'm going to take some of my dark green again, just a tad. I don't think I need that much. Oh well, a big blob came out. Look at that. Okay, that's what it is. Okay, and I want to make sure that I do have some dark because it's pretty light. So I'm gonna come back here, maybe both, and see how fast that was to do. So now what I want to do is I want to go like that. I'm going to make this blurry. So you want to have enough paint to be able to do this, or else it's not going to work. And I'm going to go this way. And I see that some spots I don't have, like over here, I don't have enough paint. So I'm just going to come and dab some. And that's okay if you need to dab. Because look, so we're kind of creating trees if you want, or grass, or maybe more grass than trees, because the log is on the ground, so it's the grass that we would see more than trees. Okay, Gonna blur. And you can do this, you know, like you want it. Play with it as much as you want. I won't spend hours on this because then we won't get through the rest of the video. Okay, so I'm just gonna do a little bit here. See, so that kind of works like your palette knife, but less paint. So it's gonna dry faster for us. The log is done with the palette knife though. Palette knife, and at the end, when it's time to put details, I've put, I took a paintbrush. It's nothing fancy, it's, okay. I'm gonna call this done. And I'm gonna dry this a little bit. And when I do the log, I might flip my canvas. Okay, that looks kind of cool to me. So put your brush in the water and we're gonna dry. It won't take long to dry because we don't have thick paint like a palette knife. But here, when we do the log, it might take a little bit longer to dry. See, it's already dry. So that's what's fun about this. It's already dry. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip. I'm going to make sure you guys see me. And I can zoom in so that you can actually see the details. Here we go. Okay. So now I'm going to load my black and my white. It's going to take quite a bit. So, and I'll show you how much I'm putting on my palette. And you might just have to, you know, well, that's, the white always comes out like in a big, okay. So this is how much I've put on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab some black, grab some white, mix it a little bit. I didn't do that on the other one. It was pretty black. By putting the black first on your palette knife and the white on top, it's very funny because it's the black that you're going to see first and the white will come after. You'll see this right now. And you see that I have a lot of paint here. Ah, well, because I mixed it. Yeah, I kind of like that I've done that. And so you want to make sure. So I'm going to do that again. So the black, the white, and mix it. And look, there's a big blob on my palette knife. And I want to come to the edge. Oh, I really, really like, yeah, I like this much better than when I started the other one. You never know a painting. See this? So this is my gray. I'm going to pick up. It might not be the same. That's okay because it's an old piece of wood. And even if it was a regular piece of, like a tree, you know, has a lot of colors in it. And this is more like a dead tree that's been there for a very long time. A friend of ours, his friend took this picture in Barrie, and I asked if I could paint it way, way, way back. I've got another painting that I've done of this, oh my God, must be like 20-something years ago. And I know everybody loves monarchs, and we don't have them here. Actually, I saw one last summer, my very first time seeing a monarch in our area. And that was my first time. Maybe when we were young, we had some, but Not very often that you'll see it in your area. And it's one way to not to confuse from the other orange butterflies is that when the body on top, on the back, has all these polka dots, these white polka dots. So that's when you know it's a monarch. Okay, so now, as you see in this one here, that's like the back of the log, and this is the front of the log. So we want to create that also. So, okay, so I'm not going to start over there, right? I'm going to start over here, and you know, and I can come and do these details. And you want to bring that color right to the back. And you can hear how hard I'm going. So I'm going to come into more white. I'm going to come into more white, picking up more white. And I'm going to blend it. I don't want to keep it white like that. And I'm going to flip over soon so that I can see. I'm having a hard time in this corner. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to load this corner. Okay, I like that. So I'm going to flip so now that I can really see how it's going. And I'm going to unzoom so that we see. Okay, like that. Okay, I need some dark here. But first, I'm going to make sure that I want this there. So I'm working with the same puddle of gray, black. If it's not enough black, I'll put some. Actually, what I want to do, I'm going to come into the black. I want to make a darker gray mixture. I kind of mix me on the fly. That's how I like it. Never the same. I never create the same thing. And there's, that log is old, so it has splits in it, like. See how I'm doing that? And you can lay your palette knife down a little bit. And you want to put some here and there. And this here, don't really want that there. I'm going to start creating illusion of deafness and differentiate the back from the middle from the front. So I'm going to load back in my black. Loading back in my black. I'm trying to kind of stay more at the corner, more over here. And you could just put cracks everywhere. Go to the edge here. I kind of tend to work only in the middle. And the more cracks you add, it's like that log that we did with the chickadee. But this is in the gray tones. Okay, so I'm going to go back in my black. Now I'm going to start to split the ends here. Maybe not have, you know, bring some here. And it's okay if you've done it too much. And here, and it goes in. Okay, so now I want to soften this up. So I'm taking a little bit of my white. You guys are going to be different than me because, you know, we don't paint the same. It won't look. And I'm going kind of a little bit curvy here just to give it a dimension, a perspective. Okay, and I'm going to come in my black. So I just dipped just this corner here because it's not as long to work in this area. And actually, I don't want it that much black here. And, you know, we might change this as we go. You know, we're going to do this a bit, go work on the butterfly, then we're going to come back. And So that way we have time to maybe play. So now I'm taking a little bit of the white, and I'm gonna make this a little bit more irregular. I don't want this here to be all the same, because really when a piece of wood is getting old, it's been weathered, and so it's not exactly all the same here. Well, that might be a little bit of too white, but look what I can do. I can just blend it in and put some more. So as you run out of paint, you just go back in and blend it. So that way it's like a stark white. And then we're gonna do a light gray. So I'm gonna come in here with the white, and I'm gonna come wherever you have a crack, go put a highlight on top. What that does, it brings your crack under. And it's okay if it kind of hides the crack a little bit. See what that does? And I can add white here and there, and it's not pure white because this is all wet still. It kind of becomes a light gray. Don't put too much under here because the log is rounded, so this is kind of in the shadow. So let's put some on top here. You always got to think that the log is not flat, it's round, okay? In nature, it's round, unless it's been, really, really weathered, and even it's almost has to be man-made cut to have it square. Okay, so that's why I'm kind of concentrating over here. Now I'm going to take a little bit of black, and I'm going to come and do more cracks here. So I don't have enough black, and I'm not too much black on your palette knife. That might be, so I'm going to clean it. I find that it's getting too thick. So I'm going to wipe it on my rag, and I'm going to come and dip into fresh black. So just a little round of black. And I can create cracks here. That might be, if it's too much, it's okay. I can add some white again. What we want to do, we just want to imitate in here. And how does that look? Actually, it doesn't look bad at all. I'm going to take my white again. My palette knife is dirty. I'm not cleaning it. I only cleaned it once when I told you I was. That's the only time. And I want to come here. And what we're going to do, and I'm just going to kind of smooth this out here. You see how there's different grays, and there's dark grays, there's light gray, there's a medium gray. So what we're going to do is here, I want maybe a little bit more highlight here. Just highlight this, not too much, because I want it to keep its appearance of, okay, I'm going to dry this, and it's okay. Look, there's like a little swirl here. That's okay because it kind of looks like a knot, okay? Let's see, maybe a little darker gray. Let's see what that does. Yeah, I like that. I could play around with this all night, all day. So you're gonna have to decide for yourself how much you want in it. Do you want darker areas? It's gonna be what your eye sees. And me, because it's on my table, I don't always see what you see. It's very different having your painting sitting on your table, and I can't lift it up, because if I lift it up, you guys don't see anymore. Okay. I don't want to lose some areas that I like. Okay, maybe a little bit white at the end here and over here. I don't want it even, you know. If you make it too even, it looks too perfect. We don't want it perfect. I'm going to bring that up a bit. A little bit more. Not too much, like I said at the bottom. I don't want to do the contrary of what I told you. Okay. I like that. And I'm pressing very gently, like you don't even hear me pressing on the canvas at this point. Okay, I'm going to dry this, guys, and we're going to start on the butterfly, and then we're going to come back with just a liner, and we're just going to come and add the extra little details, okay? But for now, we're going to dry, and remember, oh, look at this. I'm so messy. I have paint over here, so I'm going to take my, see, I'm going to show you what I'm going to do here. I'm going to take my green. I'm going to take my finger and my green, and I'm just going to come here and fix that. I might have more. Like this happens to me all the time. It's either because I have paint on my hand and I don't see it, and I do that all the time. Okay, let's dry. This is going to take a few minutes because it's very, very wet. And I want it very dry because, as you see, I'm a messy painter. So my hand is always, I love to put my hands on my canvas. And because I do that, and because I shake, for me, it's a way of shaking less if I can have my hand on my canvas. So that's why I like to dry, especially the butterfly. That, you know, we're working with a paintbrush to be more specific with it. I'm gonna have some water. My throat is dry. I'm going to show you the butterfly. One painting I did a little monarch that I did last year because I thought I was going to teach it in person, and it didn't happen. So I kind of made a little twist. I added a fairy on the log also. And so I'll show you, I made a little butterfly compared to the big butterfly that we're going to do today. It'll be your choice. You can do a big butterfly or a small butterfly. It'll be up to you to do that. Okay, I think this is dry enough. So what I want to do is I want to move this. And I want to bring you in. Merci, Chloe. Okay, remember, guys, I'm the only reason why I'm able to answer this person is because I'm standing up, trying to zoom in so that you can see the details of the butterfly. So now I'm going to show you how big the butterfly is and how little this butterfly is. Okay, so you can do either. I'm going to do a big butterfly because it's going to be easier for you to see the details. and here's a little butterfly. My little butterfly, I say, is about 1.5 inches. This one maybe 2.5 inches. Okay, so we're gonna start. And I've done them differently. Both are different. So I'm gonna take my paint, my chalk, and I'm gonna do the body. So the body is just like a kind of a little semicircle, if you want, okay? And it's got the head. And I'm gonna come from the head, I'm just gonna come up. It's in a slight angle. And then, actually, what I wanna also do is here, it comes in a curve, it follows the curves of the body, and it comes in a curve here. So what I want to do is join these two. So I'm going to come in, and it starts curving at the head. And I'm coming down, and right like that. So now the other wing starts almost pretty much at the head. And we're going to give it a curve. It's okay if you don't have it right. I didn't get it right the first time too, because we didn't sketch this. We're doing it on the fly. Okay, and this here has a pretty rounded shape, and also it comes right to the top of the head. And then, so this wing is smaller than the other wing that we're gonna do. And this comes in and comes to the end here. Okay, so this should be, okay, so what this tells me is that this here, these two should not be even. So I'm gonna give it a bigger curve, okay? And I'm bringing it down a tad here. I'm gonna take this off so it's not confusing. And actually this is so much fun working with the chalk. I want to make it like maybe daintier. Now, this wing is shorter, okay? Now, the light comes like this. So that's why in the painting, this is more highlighted than this area. The sun is coming in like that. So it's creating a shading, because this is kind of on this side here, okay? And that's why this here is highlighted. The sun is hitting it, okay? So now what I want to do is we're going to start working. And here, guys, I can adjust as I paint. I don't have to. Actually, what I want to do is I'm going to bring it in a little bit. So I'm going to bring it in. And this butterfly will not look like my other butterfly, because this one here that I did doesn't even look like the first butterfly I did. And my very first one, because this is not the first time I paint this, doesn't even look like this. So I'm going to adjust this, make it go more like that. And I want it to be in a point, which we'll do with our paintbrush. Okay, well, I'm satisfied with it. The body, when we paint, we're gonna work on it. So now what I want to do, I want to take the little 1/8 flat brush. I think this one is called a number 4, but it's like a 1/8 flat brush. We're going to take our orange. We only need the tangerine for now. Okay. I'm going to load the tangerine. I'm going to try not to load where the palette is dirty. Okay. So there's my tangerine. So first thing we do is the tangerine. We're not going to do the highlight, the shading, nothing first. And we want to go put our markings on of the butterfly. So what, I'm not going to show you the palette as I'm, reloading all the time. I'm just going to reload and I'm going to say, you guys have to reload as you go, as what you need. So I'm going to start over here and I'm going to start putting my markings. Doesn't have to be perfect. The reason why we're going to know it's the butterfly, it's the orange, it's going to be the way we've put the orange on. See, there's different markings. They go in, kind of come in, and I'm not trying to be that specific. Like I say, we're gonna know it's a monarch by the coloring. So now we want this to come down, and I'm gonna bring it up a bit. And it's okay if they're too big, because when we put our black around it, that's where we can adjust. We're going to do a couple of coats of this paint here. And I'm going to come in and not trying to be too picky. And so I want to get close to the area here of this here, the edge of the wing, because the color goes right to the edge of the wing. So I'm still trying to do the placement, but not being stressed over it. And the colors are in some areas, you'll see they're very close together. We could have filled this all in and then do the black. But I find it might be more not knowing where to put your orange. And actually, it's easier to put your orange first, because if we put the orange right, after the black, it's going to take a lot of coats to hide the black. So here it has a big, and I'm going right to the edge of my canvas here. And I'm going to stop here, because in here, it's going to have I'm going to show you. You see here how it kind of has a little sunken area, a little curvy area? That's what this is what this is here. And it's okay if it's too big, because we can shrink it when we do, or it's not the right shape. We're going to adjust that with our black. So now I'm going to do the second. It has like 3 rows here. I'm not sure if my paintbrush is going to be, and they're very, very close. It's almost like a fine line here. And it goes right to the edge here, and even that goes right to the edge here. And it's okay if they touch. We're going to adjust it with our black. So don't worry about that. If that worries you, don't worry. Now we're going to start to fill this in also. This here doesn't go right to the edge of the wing. What we want to create is not the same shape all over, because it's not, it has all these different shapes. So that's what I'm trying to do. And because if you just put dots and this and that, it's going to kind of look like maybe not your monarch, without being, that, trying not to be too precise, so that that it's you understand and people will see that you've created a monarch. And here it goes like that. Okay, so that is our first placement. And actually, what I'm going to do is bring some of them in here a little bit. Because if I have it, I'm going to put a second coat right away here. This is that shape. This here kind of goes like that. So I'm putting my second coat on because by the time I got to the bottom, this was already dry. So kind of cool. So I might have to, as you can see, the craft paint is very see-through. Artist colors don't do that. Okay. That's pretty cool. And if your paint is not dry when you put your second coat, it's going to lift. So that meaning that the bottom coat is going to make a hole. It's going to lift. So make sure that you're dry. Mine is, because it's so hot in here. I had put my heater on, and it's quite hot. And I have a little, okay. And it's okay, like I say, if things touch, your colors touch, that's okay, because we're gonna, with our black, we're gonna come and make a little line. And I'm actually gonna make this maybe thicker. We could have done a big blob here, and then with the black go and, you know, make it, separate it. Okay, so now we're going to come into the top of the top wing. And the top wing goes like this, and it has a big space there on the wing. And it comes right down to this wing here. And it goes in, I'm going to bring my brush up. I need more paint. And kind of a curve. Might be a little bit big. Okay. And this, yeah, this is like a point here. Okay. And the top's a tad longer because we're coming kind of in the shape like that. And my bottom one, I'm going to do the bottom one so that I don't go over. The bottom one will follow this very closely. And it comes and it goes up a little bit, and it comes right here. Oh, that orange is very vibrant. Okay, and like this, and this one here has a curve here. Like, you don't have to be specific like this, but on most Monarchs, that's what you're gonna see. And I come in, and actually, you know what I'm gonna do, guys? I'm gonna go right up. I'm gonna do one color here, and we're gonna split it up with our black. It's gonna be much easier than trying to do 3 squares here. This one here is a bit longer out. This one here is a little bit in. Okay, now the top. Top has, it's almost like a rectangle, semicircle. And I'm kind of just doing whatever here. I was very specific with my other painting. You should have seen it, man. But I'm trying to be more loose here. So okay, so now we're going to come down. Now we're going to do, there's a space between this wing and that one, okay? So, and it touches, it's going to touch the edge. And it doesn't have to be completely straight. That's kind of how it is. It was like wobbly. Okay. Now I'm going to switch this. No. Okay, no. I have to leave it like that. Put my paint too far. Okay. Now, this here starts with kind of a circle here. Like, and it finishes right here. And it's right at the edge of the wing. And it follows the top of this one here. And it's okay, like I say, I just went into the other one, that's okay. It's not a problem at all. Same thing here, has a little line, and this one here kind of comes down. And I'm trying to show you exactly. So I want your monarch to look like a monarch. So excuse me if I'm a little kind of anal with this. Okay, okay. See the paint, they dry fast. And this one here is split in two. So I'm going into a corner, and I'm going to come and we're going to put another coat here. And so this one is kind of out more compared to the others. When we put the second coat there, we're gonna see more of the difference. So we're coming in, and there's like a comma stroke here, and over here also. Okay, so that's our orange. I'm gonna go put a second coat here. It needs a second coat. I don't want to see. Oh, actually, guys, put a little water in your paintbrush. That's what I'm missing. I'm missing water. I went dry brush. Put a little water in. It's going to flow much, much better. Sometimes I get into my bubble and I forget to tell you, or I forget to do that step, because I work a lot with dry brush. So a little bit of water, just a tad, not very much. You don't want it to be too watery. And that's okay. I just went over my line. That's okay. Gotta turn my brush, just a lot of paint on that side. And then we're gonna be, once I'm satisfied that I have enough, that it's, I don't see the green under. Even here. Here, there's going to be a lot of shadow, so it might not be as important to not see, that I can see through it. It might be okay. I want to touch that wing. And I want to touch the wing here. And I'm just going to keep going. And over here also. Here, the reason why it's important to have that it doesn't show, because it's very lighter than the top. The top, we're going to put some red in it. And voila. So I'm just going to come and touch areas without really pressing hard, just to get, not to see through as much. And then I'm going to dry it. Yeah, I like that. We're going to be ready to put the red in, and then actually I think I'm going to do the red. I'm thinking, no, I might have put the red before. I'm thinking if I did the red after or before. Never know with me. I do it one way and the next time I do it another way. That's what's nice about painting, is as you go and you've done it a few times, you kind of know that it kind of works better this way. Okay, I'm going to take the apple. I'm going to take the apple red. I'm going to put it on my palette. You don't need very much. I'll show you. Look, you don't need very much. I'm going to come in with a dirty brush, with the orange and the red, because I don't want a pure red over there. I just want to have kind of orangey red. Okay, see what it does? And I'm going to come in. Oh yeah, that's perfect. And start right there. Okay, I'm going to come in again. I'm going to load as I need to. And all of this here, I'm just going to kind of come and put it's a shadow. Oh, okay, now I think I need to probably separate this. Okay, so I'm going to mix the red again and the orange, because I'm going to go on the other side, do the same thing. And these I'm going to go this way. Okay, guys? Because that's how, when we separate them, that's how they go, that way. Okay, I find I've put maybe a tad too much of orange. And this will be able to play with it once our black is there, which is going to be really fun. Okay, now I'm going to come on this side. I'm going to do some of the red too. So I'm just mixing. I'm just going to kind of dab on it, because this is all in the shade. You see how I'm not puttering around? I'm just doing it. Sometimes we putter too much around in our paintings, because that is in the shadow. And we're gonna put more shadow on it after too. Just starting the shadow, and I'm doing it kind of on under. Okay. I'm gonna put, since there's some on my brush, and all of these have that shadow also, but not at the bottom. So I'm gonna wash my brush. I'm gonna take the red out of my brush. And I'm going to take my white. I'm going to try to grab some clean white and some of my orange. And I'm going to create now a lighter orange. Okay. And we're going to highlight this. And that's how you know the sun is is there. So I'm going to take some of my white again. Make it maybe a tad more orangey. It's almost like a light tangerine. It is because it's tangerine. A tiny, tiny, tiny little bit of water in here, just so that it flows better. And I'm just going to come in. It's okay if I went over. We're going to hide it with the black. Trying not to hide all of my tangerine. And if you did, we can take some of the tangerine, if you have some left, and kind of go and add it. You know, just kind of under. And over here. Okay. We're gonna, once our black is on, we're gonna come and we're gonna refine it a little bit. So I'm gonna wash my brush. And I'm going into my black. So for my black, I'm gonna take my zero liner. I think this is a number 1. No, it's a 20-0. Like it has, it's a 20-0. It actually has 20 hair on it. So I'm gonna take some water because I want it to flow. Okay, so I'm gonna take some water. Don't want it too watery, but you want it to glide. Okay. And now all I have to do now is go around the edge. Oh, actually, you know what, guys? I'm gonna dry this a little bit. Just a tad. And actually what I want to do is the head. I'm going to start at the top. See, not enough water. So I'm just going to come back in. And okay. Okay, so here I can be gentle, I can be delicate here. And I kind of need to do my body now so that I know the wing, where it goes, where it ends. So the head is kind of lifted. It's not quite a circle. Okay, so now I'm going to come in and I'm going to press. Okay. And if ever, for some reason, your body is not okay, well, you still have your green. So you can go and adjust it if you want. Gonna make it round. You see that my wing doesn't quite get to there. So I just might have, my body needs to be bigger because I made a big butterfly. And this, so I'm going to increase the head a tad. You don't want a butterfly that looks like an alien. Okay. So now the body keeps going here. Okay. So I'm kind of making a scoop under. Okay. And kind of has another one here. And then we go up to the end here. Okay. This might not be actually Correct. So what I want to do before I get into the black, I'm going to come back into my orange. I'm going to add a little bit of orange. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in. Okay, my orange there is very old. So I'm going to come in with my 1/8 brush again. And I'm going to come in and I'm going to make another. Because my body is a bit longer, a bit wider here. I didn't bring this down enough. See? It's no big deal. I'm going to fix it. There we go. See how you can fix when you didn't do exactly the right proportion? I'm not going to do the, I would not do the whole butterfly unless I'm like, it doesn't really look like a butterfly. Probably the only time I would do that. Now I'm just going to start filling in as I'm coming along. This one here might be a little too skinny to do that, but the reason why I picked this one is because it's fine enough to go in between. And I'm thinning my black as I'm going. Okay, so I'm going to come down so that I don't put my hand, and I want this pointy, the end here, pointy. As pointy as my brush will let me do. And here it's kind of curvy, it's kind of wavy here, the edge of the wing. And as I go dip into my black, I dip in my water first. Now I tried doing the butterfly a different way, different ways to try to make it the easiest possible. And I found that doing the orange first was the easiest way to do it. Because we can always come and correct with the black. So I don't necessarily have to follow the white that I've put down, and I'm gonna see how cool it looks like the Monarch once we put our black in and we refine. See how I when I do in between these, okay, dip into my water again, my black, and I swirl it in my black to fill my brush. Usually you try not to fill your brush right up to the ferrule, which is the steel part here, because you gotta really make sure you clean your brush properly. If you do that, because if some stays in your ferrule, then your brush won't be as fine anymore, because there's a lot of paint stuck at the top. So it kind of loses its shape. And that's how some of mine lost their shape, because with time, I stopped taking care of my brushes. Well, my new brushes there, I will be taking care of them. I bought the cleaning stuff for the brushes, which I'll show you when it's time to when we start painting again. It's just a brush cleaner. They call it, I think, a brush cleaner. And have you ever noticed that when you buy brushes, they're very stiff? That's because they kind of keep soap in it. It's like it shapes your brush, and it prevents your brush from getting damaged when it's when you're done painting and you're putting it away. So see, there, here I can be very specific. That's probably the most specific is with the black here. Then there's the white spots that we're going to add. So I'm trying not to have it too watery because I don't want to go do 2 coats of paint. You might have to if your color is very watery, but that's okay. You can do that once we're done. Because some of you don't paint the same time as me. You do it after. So now my black has a lot of, like, it's very watered down. Not too much that I have to, I'll have to do 2 coats, but just perfect actually. And here, okay, I'm starting to come down in between. If you see that in between, it's making, see here I can come and add some orange. If in between you're seeing that it's making like a thick line, you either have too much paint on your brush or not enough water so it's not gliding. Because here it's very thin. Goes very well when you don't shake. See, that's why I like to put my hand on my canvas. And that's why I'm starting at the far end of my canvas. So I don't have my hand in there. Okay, and also, this one here, it's has a split there. So my split, I'm going to come in, bring it in a little bit so that it looks like it's split. It looks like it's 2 pieces. I'm going to come down here and bring that there. Oh, I love this brush. I hadn't used it in so long. I have so many brushes that I kind of forget the brushes that I have. Because I try to use the same brushes for you guys so that you don't think you have to buy 1,000 brushes like I have. You really don't need to do that. Okay, so I'm coming into my black again. I'm going to come down here and I'm going to keep that wavy a little bit here and come down here. I don't want to press too hard. I think I might have even pressed maybe a tad too hard here. So I'm going to keep that going. Okay, so I'm going to fill the black here. Make sure there's no spots. You don't see through the butterfly. Your black has to really cover if you has to cover the green that's under. It's not a see-through butterfly. Okay, I'm going to come down and up here. Okay. There's refining to be done here. Okay, so now we're going to come on this side. Again, I'm going to dip my brush in the water. And I'm just twirling it into, when I say twirling, this is what I'm doing. I'm turning it, loading it. That's why my ferrule, it will need, like this brush will need a very good cleaning after. And here I'm going to come in a little bit because I find it a little bit wide and up. Like your butterfly definitely doesn't have to have exactly the same shape as mine does. It could be, its wings could be, down a little bit more, down like that a little bit more, so, it won't be the same shape. That's okay. One year we went to my sister's, and it was in August, so the Monarchs were preparing for their journey to leave. And we went to this place on a reserve in Owen Sound at the amphitheater. And oh my God, the Monarchs, there was lots of I took so many pictures. My sister was so patient. She just stayed there with me, and I took hundreds and hundreds of pictures. And it's so much fun when you do that. But this one here is not one of mine. I didn't want to do a flower. I thought that this was maybe simpler to teach than doing a flower. And actually a flower I did one already, and I didn't want to redo the same thing. So before I go down, I'm going to fill this up. And actually my husband and I had went at is it Tobomori, that's on this side of Owen Sound? And that's where we went to a place where, you know, there are people there that they were butterfly organization, and they thought that the butterflies, they go on that route, so they thought the butterflies were going to be in that area at that time. So we went and we did not see one monarch. So that's when we stopped there, because I wanted to see what that place was. And that's where I saw all of the monarchs. I was so excited because I don't get to see them over here. They're such a beautiful butterfly. I mean, there's lots of beautiful butterflies, but I don't know. Monarchs are special. So see, all I'm doing is going around. So this is where we're going to come and do our split. Okay, so I'm going to dip into my water. I want this not too thick because they're very close together. So I'm going to come in. I think I have lots of paint in here, but I'm not going to press very hard. So I'm going to come. And that's my first one. Then my second one. And this one. And then this, well, can be more. And that's when we're going to start to differentiate the shapes that we've done. And what's going to make it a monarch is, like I said, will be the white dots. It doesn't have any on the body because it's on the top of the body and we have a side view. So there won't be any on the body. And this is split also. See, this is where I can create shapes. And this actually, I'm going to round this off a little bit. Okay, and I'm going to come. Okay, so I need to come out a little bit more. Well, no, this one, well, maybe a tad. I'm going to come out a tad here. I'm pretty close. And I'm going to start this wing here. So actually what I'm going to do, because I know I'm going to put my hand in there. So before I go down, I'm going to do this. That's what happened when I did the one that I showed you. I went here and then I had my hand in there. Very, very hard not to have your hand in there. Okay, here, hairline between all the the orange. Okay, so I have lots here, so I'm going to start working my way down. Sometimes when I do the second one with you guys, it's even more beautiful than the first one. I guess it's because, you know, I've done it a few times now, so it gets easier when you do that. So here we go. And this one could be like really close to the body. So here I'm going to come and add some orange. This is what differentiate the wings from one another, is the orange that helps us to do that. And here, see, so I'm creating shapes as I go. Some areas are thicker, some areas are not, and I kind of look at my photo and I kind of follow my photo, and if it's not perfect, well, it's okay. I'm gonna water it down so I can, you know, I'll be starting to work on the edge here. And there is, you know, we need the black here, a lot of black here to come and put our white dots there. Okay. So I'm gonna reload again. Now I'm gonna start curving in. And I want to finish right here at the tip. It's okay if I'm crooked because we're going to come and we're going to put the white there on it. Okay. See, we're almost done. We're going to have to dry before, you know, we do anything else. Okay, so I think my black, once we're done, what I'm going to do is we're going to come and we're going to, I want to round this up a little bit, make it more round. And it has another kind of round here. And it has almost look like a tail, but I think it's a leg. I'm gonna take watered down paint, and this is thin, by the way, guys. It's just a leg. We're going to, I want to adjust his face a little bit here. Okay, just like that. Okay, so I'm not going to go add the legs and the antenna right away because I don't want, this is wet, so we're going to dry this. Take your palette away and let's dry a bit. Won't take very long to dry. Yeah. See, it's already dry. So what I want to come and do is I'm going to come and back into my tangerine and here add some tangerine over here. Now with the highlight, I kind of, I'm going to put some water in my brush. And I find that if I put a little tangerine in there, it's giving me a dimension here. So without adding, without using another color, we're kind of adding a bit of shadow. It doesn't have to be everywhere. I just want some that we see a bit of that tangerine under. And the same thing here. And so this is where you do your adjustments here. Okay. Now this one here, it's a bit maybe a little bit too dark. I'm gonna take my tangerine with my red, and I'm gonna come in here because to me it's too light. A bit of water, and that's why it's not flowing. Need a little bit of water. And I'm just kind of going over some areas here, because we're going to go over it with some watered down black to give it even more shadows. Then I come to the edge. I see my green here. I want to see my green. Maybe a little too much red here. So dip into my my tangerine over here too. A bit more water. When it doesn't glide anymore, you've got too much. You need water. Not too much, but you need water. Okay. And over here also. See, I went into my black, but on this side here, I won't worry about it because we are gonna put some shadows. Okay, we're ready to put our white. So the white is, dip into your white. I'm going into the clean white. And it has markings over here. I'm going to make them so that you can see them because my butterfly is big. So the markings are going to be a little bit bigger. Over here, and then around the wing. I'm going to take this off. Whoops. Okay. I'm going to try to... I should have done that before, huh? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean that up with some black. Okay, so take your markings out before you do your white, because then you'll see better. I'm going to start at the tip of the wing, and it's just like almost a line. And it's in where we did those little swoops here, those little curves. That's where that is. And it's not very thick because it's like the edge of your wing. And this is where we're going to see the separation of the wings here. And maybe one more here so that you see now how it's defined. Now we've got one here. Like, you don't really have to follow this to the letter. And here. And then it comes down. And I'm not dipping in water here. I'm just coming down here. And why sometimes you have like a few strokes, it's the way I'm holding my brush. It's making it's kind of, because it's dry, that's what it's doing. And I'm coming down. I kind of like it actually, that it's doing that. And here, well, it's not as thick because we're coming down here. I can adjust with my paint. So now here I'm gonna come and do the top. And you can do kind of on the edge of the wings. So it's gonna give the wing a little, like it's a curve kind of. Okay. And I'm not stressing, I'm just doing. And it follows the other marking. Okay, now because, okay, I knew I was gonna do that. I'm gonna adjust it with my black. I'm trying to, maybe it's here, and here it's lighter, okay? What I did on my other is I put a couple of coats of white. Okay. And I put a couple of coats here. But I'm going to dry this because I'm going to have my hand in the white. Okay, so I'm going to dip in my white again. And I'm going to come here. I'm going to come here again, and I will adjust it with my black, because then when we do black, that'll be our last thing that we do, because we need to do the antenna, and there's one leg that we see. So we're going to come and do that. So wherever you want it to pop, so, you know, do your coats of white. I'm not going to do them all because our paints are different. But as long as you see, you put the whites, as many coats, I find the more it pops, the more you see it from far away, it looks more like a Monarch. And I want to do maybe a bit more details in our log. Okay, so now I'm going to come, oh, I shouldn't have taken the water out of my brush. I want to come and, you know, I did a couple of little boo-boos here. So here we go. How you fix it. Easily fixed, right? In here. I can even, you know, reshape it if I find that they're not quite shaped like I prefer having them. Et voila. Okay, so now let's do a leg. The leg kind of comes, what I'm going to do actually, I'm going to dry. Okay, we're going to do the antenna. So the antenna comes, it's going to come maybe like this far. Oh, I better move over a bit. Let's see. Okay, so the antenna comes a little bit up, comes down a little bit, and then it curves. And you want to make it not too thick. If for some reason you're very thick, take some of your green and adjust. Actually, well, the antenna can go there. Okay, I'm leaving mine like that. I think it's not bad at all. And make it long enough. You know, it could be a little bit longer. and press on it when you're here. Okay. This could be thinner. But I'm going to leave it like that. I think it's not bad at all. Sometimes not bad is where you stop. Okay, so now one leg comes in and it scoops down. Okay, it's a little bit thicker here because it's like it's part of his leg. And then it has a knee kind of. So it has a little circle here. And here it's very skinny legs. Not skinny that, you know, it's going to break. So I'm going to just come and thicken it up a tad. But it's hard because it's a tiny little line. Okay. So that is that. I want to put some shadow. So I'm going to take, this time I'm going to take a number 6 flat brush, which is about 1/4 inch. I'm going to put water in it. And I want to do kind of like very, very, not too much paint in. You see what I'm doing? I'm running around here and barely any. And I'm going to come and do my shadow. Shadow is everywhere here. And more water because I feel it's dragging. I want it to drag. I want it to, and I don't want too much paint. So it's kind of hiding, but what it's doing, it's giving us our shadow. And it comes up right to here. No more water, no more dipping in. So it's just toning down everything. And it comes right up to here. And up to here. Okay, see, I'm not dipping in anymore. And I'm barely touching. Okay, so that's our shadow. And I'm going to move you over a little bit more. Now, we're going to do the shadow under the butterfly. So the sun is like this. That's why this is highlighted the most. So the shadow starts here. Okay, so we're going to take our black. And it can be, you know, a little bit of your watered down black. So I'm going to move over, so make sure that you see the shadow. Shadow starts at the foot here. And it follows the log. And it comes down. So it follows the shape of the log. And it comes down. And then when you see kind of like the shape of the body here. So we're just filling. It's very easy, that shadow. No, not complicated at all. And right here is going to start to come down, and here, that's his shadow. And I'm just going to come and finish it in a point if I can. Okay. That's our shadow. So now I'm going to take some of my white into my black, and I'm going to make a gray because I want to refine this a little bit just to show you. So actually, shadow looks not bad at all. So I'm going to come and just add a little shape to my shadow so that, and I'm going to, like this. That is perfect. Okay, so now I'm going to zoom out a bit. And we're going to work a little bit on our log. Hi, sis. I'm up. That's why I can't. I saw someone say hello. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. And Oh, look at that. That is amazing. I find that so amazing that, you know, to see, and actually what I want to do, now that, you know, it's dry, we can take our palette knife again. Oh, and this is where we're going to use our linen, okay? Don't need very much on your palette. Look, you don't need very much on your palette. I'm going to take some of the linen, some of the whitish gray, and I'm going to come in, maybe a little bit, a tad of the black. No, that's too much black. Okay, of the linen. Because the linen's going to give me another kind of color. And I'm laying my palette knife down. And you can, you know, it doesn't have to be like, you know, when it follows kind of the grain of your canvas. Well, you don't have to leave it bumpy. You can extend it. I picked up some black, which is perfect. That's okay. So it gives me another layer. So now I'm going to come on the corner of my brush, pick up the linen. Oh, maybe I didn't do this right. I don't know. I'm going to come here, and I'm going to add, and I'm going to lay it down. And I want to refine. I want to see the edges of the log here. So I'm going to take some more linen. See, it gives me a different gray. So we've got like 4 or 5 grays in there because of the white, the black, now the linen. So it just gives a dimension to your log. And I can't put that there, but okay. So all I'm doing is I'm taking some linen and I'm coming into my dirty palette. There's gray already there, so why not use it? So, and I'm kind of working not the usual way that I do. Usually I go that way, now I'm going this way. Well, I do that, but I mean, my brush, my paint, my knife it's different. I'm using the different edge. Okay, so yeah, I like that better. It's more defined. Okay, so I've got paint left here. I'm going to put that. And you guys can just play with it and you know, just have fun. There's no mistakes here. And then keep the under dark. So now if you want to add little details, I'm going to take that liner again. I'm going to come into my black here. And I can come and add, you know, the cracks wider here. And I'm barely touching here to, you know, just to define it a little bit more. And I don't want like a black spot. So I'm just going to extend it with my finger. And if I can, you know, touch it here and there with my black, just to kind of define it again, but without, you know, making a circle or, you know what I mean, at the edge here. It's just making it pop. Okay? And you can add more cracks if you want. Going back into my black. You know, if I want more cracks here. And don't make them the same everywhere. Put them in different spots so that it looks more natural. You know, under here I can add, if I add shading, like a line under certain spots, it gives it a dimension again. You know, yours is going to be very different from mine. Well, I got lots of black here. I don't want too much black. So here I'm going to come. So I'm kind of just creating kind of a shadow under what's already highlighted. So it kind of gives it, and it doesn't have to be everywhere. It just gives me more of an age look. Here also I can do that here and there. Here too, like at the end here. Not really like that. And wow, it looks pretty good, guys. I wouldn't touch it anymore. Well, mine, I won't touch mine anymore. If you guys want to keep adding, just be careful because sometimes we go overboard. It actually does happen. So, and then, well, you don't know what to do because you went overboard. So just, you know, stop. If you're not sure, stop painting. Look at it for a while, put it away. I mean, not away in a corner where you don't see it. Put it on, you know, near your, like mine, what I do is near my TV. I'll put my painting there. And then I'll look at it. And I know there's something, but sometimes I just can't quite put my finger on it. So I'll look at it and look at it, and then all of a sudden it hits me. I know exactly what's bothering me. So do that too. Don't have to finish a painting in one sitting. You can do 3, 4 sitting, because when I create a painting for the tutorial, it'll take me sometimes 2 to 3 days. Sometimes it's just like that. I get it right away, and other times I don't. So then I stop. It's because the flow is not there. So I stop, and I the next day I look at it again, and then if I get an inspiration or something, then I keep going. So do that. Just follow your gut. If you're tired, stop painting, because that's where we make mistakes, is when we're tired and we want to finish the project and we're not listening to our inner selves. Okay? So guys, I wish you very good summer. And like I say, I'll be back when I see that there's things that I want to share with you right away that you can use. Or else I'll see you next season, guys. Enjoy the process, and thank you for showing up.